أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. What is inner peace? How can we attain peace of mind? This is a question which increasingly large number of people are seeking an answer to, but they are far, far away from getting the answer. Then we'll have to ponder what is the reason why we are so far off from this, from getting to the answer of this very pertinent question. We'll have to see what is the difference between man and the rest of the creations, various animals which roam on this earth. The animal which is nearest to man is chimpanzee. And it has been proved that there is a very small difference, maybe just a little above 1% of a difference in the count of chromosomes in the genes of man and a chimpanzee. But this seems a very small difference, but it is such a big difference. It's like the heaven and earth. Why? Why this very insignificant appearing difference is such a big difference? Because the difference is of intellect, of mind, of the brain which has been given to man and which has not been given in that capacity to a chimpanzee. But it is unfortunate that man uses his brain the least, particularly in affairs related to religion, where sometimes we feel afraid that if we'll use our brain, then we might digress from the true path. And this might lead to the anger of God. What is the nature of an animal? What does it seek? It seeks food. It seeks a relative comfort where it can spend its day and night in relative peace. It needs a shade, it needs some entertainment, and for entertainment, maybe it needs some opposite sex of its own breed. But if we look deeply, man is also doing all these and nothing else, and in a very high proportion. We just do not need food to satisfy our appetite, but our taste buds come into the picture. We just do not need a shade, but we need big mansions and houses and palaces. We just do not need a little bit of entertainment. We have been known, if we look into the history, to spend a lot of our time, and in fact most of our time, in entertainment and seek in pursuing various modes of entertainment. Even in Gita, Krishna says that you are doing nothing but entertainment. Your life is spent in entertainment and following a few rituals. And what we are doing now? Most of our life is still being spent in entertainment. The modes of entertainment have changed. There was a time when Chaucer, the game of chess, was a mode of entertainment. And people were so involved in that they even used to bet their wives and their properties and everything in a game of Chaucer. And women and other mode of entertainments must also be there during those times as well. And today we are spending most of our time in seeking and pursuing and spending our time in entertainment. So, what is the difference between a chimpanzee and us? Only difference is that the brain which God has given to us, which has not been given to chimpanzee, we are using that brain more in doing exactly what the chimpanzee was doing. And conversely, if you look, every prophet from God, he has taught us to use our intellect, to use our mind. So when we look in history, we see maybe even if it is Krishna, it is Jesus, or it is Prophet Muhammad, everybody wants us to apply our mind and to seek wisdom. But people who do not want us to come to the right path, they put Fourth, those avenues where mind is used the least. And if we look into the Islam history of Muslims, there was a time, several hundred years, a lot after Prophet Muhammad, when the people who are ruling in the name of caliphate, in the name of religion, they never wanted the Muslims or their subjects to use their intellect. And that is why we see in history that there was a time when mathematics was not being taught in the madrasas, because they were afraid that if mathematics was taught, people will learn to apply their mind, and once they will apply their mind, they will get to know that people who are ruling in the name of religion they have nothing to do with religion. You search for peace in money. You perhaps feel that if you'll get a lot of money, then peace will come to your life. You move around, you go to mandirs and mosques and various other places of worship. You indulge in various outward religious activities thinking that peace will come to you. There are people who take a lot of intoxicants or drinks and they want to forget the world, but they are shutting their mind. How will the peace come to them? They are shutting their mind, the greatest blessing which God has given to them, to become like a chimpanzee, which doesn't have a mind, or at least which has a bigger, more developed mind than this man. And because it does not indulge in those drinkings to shut its mind. So, who is better? Chimpanzee or a man who shuts down his mind willfully? Some people sleep and they feel that okay, all they will forget all their sorrows, and they feel that they'll get some peace of mind once they get up. But there is such a void inside them that doesn't allow them to get that peace of mind which is most desirous. But how will you get that peace? If there's a thorn in your leg, in your ankle, and if you are made to stand in front of the most beautiful scenery in the world, maybe if you are made to stand in front of Victoria Fall or a Taj Mahal, and somebody says, look how beautiful that is looking, will you enjoy the beauty? No. This is exactly the reason why you are not getting to that internal bliss and peace of mind that you seek. Because it will not come in things outside you, it will come inside you. You will have to go inside, you will have to peep inside, you will have to work to lead your soul towards purity and elevate it through remembrance of God and through doing good deeds while keeping the remembrance of God alive. As you keep detaching yourself from these material afflictions while remembering and keeping aloft the remembrance of God, your spirit will continue to rise. But you will not get that inner peace by leaving the path of God. Because your spirit has been made in such a way that it attains peace, the void gets filled only when it reaches a certain level of purity. What is desired is that you live in this world. It is not at all desired that you live around the world, all the material things, and go to a forest and start living there, or get into a cave and spend your rest of life there. No prophet of God ever left the world and went away. In fact, when we see all the prophets, they spend their entire lives living within the people. People who were far, far away from the path of God. People who were engrossed in all the sins. But the prophets didn't leave them. They stayed within them. And they showed to them that even amidst all these people, the path of purification can still be achieved. There are so many people who, and particularly the religious heads or dham gurus, who do not tell this vital truth that material path of spirituality and materialism are conversely proportional to each other. They do not say this because they know that if they'll say this, then their own expenses of ashrams will not be met. But the truth is this, the truth is that if you are moving on the path of material affliction, if you have, if you crave for materialism, then you cannot come to the path of spirituality. If you wish to attain a spiritual level, if you wish to come to the path of spirituality, then you will have to leave that desire or the attachment to material things around you. It's not that you shed them altogether. You live in the society, you earn money, you keep your wife, you love your children, but all do this all through the relation of God. Do not forget God and do your acts for them. But remember God, and then you live your life. This is what you have to do. The inner peace will come only when you excel on the path of spirituality and spiritual development. Once you move on that path, you will get no pleasure from the material things around you. And that is the reason why perhaps every prophet of God has been talking about this, that Krishna said in Gita that the biggest science is the science of the self. And Quran says that you have been created in the best of molds. And the best of molds is what distinguishes you from chimpanzee. So stop being a chimpanzee and start being a man. Start using your brain, start using your intellect so that you find the path of bliss and you find inner peace.